Who was the strongest man in biblical history? At a time when Israel was under the rule and oppression of the Philistines, one man stood apart for his divine strength and complex destiny. His name was Samson. He was known for his extraordinary physical strength, and his life was filled with dramatic feats and significant challenges. Who was Samson? Where did he come from? What was his story? Let's explore the fascinating tale of this biblical figure, from his miraculous birth to his dramatic final act of strength. Birth and angelic prophecy. In the quiet hills of ancient Israel, something remarkable happened when an angel visited Manoah's wife, delivering a prophecy that would forever change their lives. The angel announced the forthcoming birth of a son, Samson, who was destined to be a Nazarite from birth, consecrated to God. Unlike any other, this child was to live under specific divine instructions. He must never drink wine nor cut his hair, symbols of his lifelong dedication to God. This was no ordinary calling. Samson was chosen to lead and save Israel from the clutches of the Philistines, who had long oppressed the land. The angel's words filled his mother's heart with a mix of awe and fear, knowing her son's life would be fraught with challenges and burdened with the weight of deliverance. Yet there was also a glimmer of hope, the promise that through her son, God's power would manifest in extraordinary ways. As Samson grew, his devout parents watched over him closely. The Spirit of the Lord began to move within him, showing signs of the great strength he would gain, strength that would one day confront the oppression of the Philistines. This story starts with an angel's simple visit to a hopeful woman, setting the stage for a tale of strength, faith, and deep change. Samson's strength and Nazarite vow. As Samson grew, his reputation for extraordinary strength spread far and wide. His long, flowing hair was more than just a personal choice. It was a symbol of his Nazarite vow, a sacred promise to abstain from wine and avoid cutting his hair, dedicating his life wholly to God. This vow was not merely about personal discipline, it was a testament to his divine purpose. Each strand of hair was a reminder of his commitment and the source of his remarkable abilities. With strength that seemed to defy the limits of human capability, Samson performed feats that astonished all who witnessed them. He could uproot trees, lift boulders of immense weight, and overpower any foe with ease. His physical power became a legend in itself, symbolizing hope and divine intervention for the Israelites, who saw in him not just a man, but a deliverer chosen by God. This immense power, however, was as much a burden as it was a gift, for with great strength came great challenges. Yet Samson faced these challenges head-on, fueled by the conviction of his vow and the unyielding spirit that stirred within him. Each day, as he lived out his destiny, his life wove a story of faith, power, and the relentless pursuit of justice against the oppression of the Philistines. Encounter with a lion. While walking on a path to Timnath, Samson faced an unexpected challenge. A hungry lion emerged, blocking his way. This moment was more than a test of courage. It was a chance to show his strength from God. Samson had no weapons, only his hands, yet he stood firm as the lion attacked. With incredible force, Samson grabbed the beast. He tore the lion apart effortlessly, like ripping a piece of cloth. This act was not just a personal victory, but a powerful message to all of Israel. By defeating the lion with his bare hands, Samson proved his extraordinary powers and the support he had from God. This event became a legendary story, remembered not only as a fight between a man and a beast, but as proof of the immense strength Samson was given by his vow to God. Every step he took was a part of his destiny, marked by this remarkable feat that people would talk about for years to come. We'll discuss how the encounter with the lion changed Samson's life later in the video, so stay tuned. Forbidden love with a Philistine woman. The course of Samson's life changed when he fell in love with a Philistine woman from Timnath. Despite his parents' strong reservations, he pursued her, driven by feelings that overpowered caution. This union, unexpected and controversial, was not merely a matter of the heart, but also a pivotal part of God's larger plan. His parents could not have predicted how this relationship would intertwine with the fate of their nation. As Samson's affection grew, so did the complications arising from this alliance with a woman from the very people Israel opposed. Yet, in this complex web of love and conflict, there lay hidden a divine strategy. Through this relationship, events were set in motion that would eventually lead to dramatic shifts in power. Samson's choice to love a Philistine woman was not just a personal decision, but a significant moment that would shape the course of history, demonstrating that sometimes the most personal choices can have the most profound historical impacts. This story of forbidden love not only highlights the complexities of Samson's character, but also underscores the mysterious ways in which divine purposes are fulfilled. Riddle at the wedding feast. At his wedding feast, Samson presented a riddle to the Philistine guests, sparking curiosity and intrigue. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. This riddle, stemming from his earlier encounter with a lion in which he found honey in the carcass, was meant to challenge and entertain his guests. However, it set off a chain of unexpected events. Under pressure from the Philistines, his wife, fearing for her family's safety, betrayed Samson by revealing the answer to them. This act of betrayal was not just a simple revelation. It marked the beginning of a deep rift between Samson and the Philistines. The consequences of this breach were immediate and severe, leading Samson into a series of retaliatory actions. Each step further entangled him in a web of political and personal conflict that tested his strength and his vow to God. The riddle at the feast thus became a pivotal moment, highlighting the complexity of Samson's relationships and the challenges of his divine mission. This story, rich with symbolism and intrigue, illustrates the unpredictable impact of secrets once they are unveiled. Retaliation against the Philistines. Driven by anger from the betrayal at his wedding feast, Samson devised a unique form of revenge against the Philistines. In a daring act, he captured 300 foxes, an incredible feat in itself, demonstrating not only his strength but also his cunning. He then tied their tails together, pairing them up, and attached torches to these improvised links. Once lit, these foxes became unwilling agents of chaos, set loose in the fields of the Philistines. As the foxes raced wildly to escape the heat and flames, the fire spread rapidly across the fields, destroying the crops that were crucial for the sustenance and economy of the region. This act of destruction was more than mere vengeance. It was a clear message of Samson's formidable power and his willingness to fight the oppression of his people. The scorched fields left a lasting mark of devastation, escalating the conflict between Samson and the Philistines, and setting the stage for further confrontations. This episode not only illustrates Samson's resourcefulness and might, but also underlines the profound consequences of his actions, affecting not just his enemies but the very landscape they depended on. The jawbone of an ass. In a display of extraordinary might, Samson faced a formidable challenge when he encountered 1,000 Philistine soldiers. With no weapon at hand, he turned to an unlikely object on the ground, the jawbone of a donkey. Using this as his tool, Samson showcased the raw power that God had bestowed upon him. With the jawbone, he struck down his enemies one after another, the bone becoming an instrument of divine wrath. This incredible feat not only demonstrated Samson's physical strength, but also his strategic skill in turning a simple object into a deadly weapon. The battlefield echoed with the clash of bone against armor as Samson fought fiercely, each blow a testament to his unyielding spirit and divine empowerment. By the end of the confrontation, the ground was strewn with the fallen, and Samson stood victorious, having single-handedly defeated 1,000 soldiers. This event did not just add to his legend, it also served as a stark warning to those who oppose the will of God. Through this act, Samson not only protected Israel but also reinforced his role as a chosen instrument of divine justice, his actions echoing through history as a symbol of God's power and protection. Delilah's betrayal. Samson's love life entered a tragic chapter when he fell in love with Delilah, a Philistine woman. Her beauty captivated him, but their relationship was fraught with deceit. Delilah, driven by motives that clashed with her affection, was determined to uncover the secret behind Samson's immense strength. Despite her relentless questioning, Samson initially resisted revealing his true vulnerability. However, Delilah's persistence wore down his defenses. Trusting her with his deepest secret, Samson finally confessed that his power lay in his uncut hair, the symbol of his vow to God. This revelation proved disastrous. Delilah betrayed him by cutting his hair while he slept, stripping him of his strength. This act of treachery not only left Samson powerless, but also marked a significant turning point in his life. Captured and humiliated by the Philistines, his fall from grace was as profound as his previous victories had been glorious. Delilah's betrayal was not just a personal loss for Samson, it was a pivotal moment that shifted the balance of power between the Israelites and the Philistines, emphasizing the personal stakes involved in the broader conflict. Loss of strength and capture. The consequences of Samson's trust in Delilah were devastating. After revealing that his uncut hair was the source of his strength, Delilah betrayed him. While he slept, she cut his hair, and with each lock that fell, so did his divine strength. Soon after, the Philistines seized the now powerless Samson. In a cruel act to ensure he would never rise against them again, they gouged out his eyes and imprisoned him. This marked the lowest point in Samson's life as he was left to languish in darkness, far from the hero he once was. His capture was not just a physical confinement, but also a symbol of his spiritual downfall. However, this was not merely an end but a transition, setting the stage for what would become a dramatic redemption. His time in prison was reflective and transformative, offering a stark contrast to his previous life of battle and victory. The Philistines celebrated his capture, but they underestimated Samson's enduring connection to his faith and his God. This episode in Samson's life serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of betrayal and the resilience of the human spirit when faced with adversity. Final triumph and sacrifice. During a Philistine festival, Samson was brought out to entertain the crowd. By this time, his hair had regrown, symbolizing the return of his strength. In this critical moment, Samson prayed to God for strength one last time. He stood between the main pillars of the temple, placed his hands on them, and pushed as hard as he could. With a mighty effort, he brought down the pillars, and the temple collapsed with a loud crash. This action caused his own death and killed thousands of Philistines who were there. Samson's final act was one of both triumph and sacrifice, showing his strength had been restored, and he had completed his mission, even in his last moments. As we conclude our journey through the life of Samson, we've seen how strength and vulnerability can coexist, shaping a destiny that is both inspiring and cautionary. Thank you for joining us on Divine Narratives. If you found this story enlightening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with more captivating stories like this. Join us next time as we continue to explore the profound narratives that have shaped spiritual history.